Good day, good day. It is your boy Marcus here. Just wanna give you the basic instructions before going out and buying yourself a nice piece of equipment that buying a nice piece of equipment that will help you take really awesome photos. Right? Most people you would wanna use one like this if you have the money to afford one of these, but these are not cheap. They may wanna use program or what we know as P or automatic fully auto. Those can work, but for the purpose of photography, professional photography, sometimes it's not the best. They don't give you the best results. Sometimes it would sometimes be too dark or too bright in certain options. I'm yet to really see a program mode that really works well and could give you results. So basically, my goal today is to help persons understand the basic fundamentals of how to manipulate your camera to be able to produce images the way you want it. Now, you have to understand the basic meaning of photography. Photography is exactly what it says it is: photo, which is light, and graphy, which is painting. So basically you're painting with light. And when you paint with light, you manipulate certain parts of the camera. Alright? Basically if you pick up this one of the camera like this, you have three components, three systems you have to manipulate to produce an image. Alright, and that's basically the shutter, the aperture, alright, and the ISO. Right, so once you manipulate these three functions, you will end up with a proper image. Right, that's why I call it the exposure triangle. Now the exposure triangle comprises of these three functions of the camera. Alright, the most basic one right now, there's a statue of it, we can start with aperture. Right now, the aperture of the camera is basically the opening of the camera. Now, when they first started photography, basically, way back when, they used to use something called a pinhole camera, and that had a single aperture. There's a pinhole, very, very small. And that's how they would go along producing images. But we have developed so much now that now we can adjust, and we have really, really wide apertures and really, really small apertures. The very easy way to remember apertures, sizes, can be very confusing. For example, if I tell you f22, you might think it's a very big opening, which is the opposite. It's really a small opening. Alright, so in aperture, the higher the number, the smaller the hole. So an aperture of f22 is actually a very, very small opening in the aperture. Alright, so yeah, so we need to get that clear from off the back foot. That's probably the most confusing thing somebody that's just getting into photography will have to understand first. The f-stop, the bigger the number, the smaller the opening. Alright, now the other fundamental thing you must understand with aperture is that the f-stop or the aperture is the only thing Well, I shouldn't say the only thing, but it's the main component to exposure. So your f-stop control your exposure. You understand? Simple. So if you want something to be exposed, get more light, you have to open the aperture more. If you want less light going into the camera, you close it down. Alright, so you have f-stop from f1.8, that's a very, very wide opening. The way we describe things is when we see a wide opening, photographers will refer to it as a fast lens. That means a lot of light is coming in. It's fast. The more light you get going in the camera, the more expensive the lens tend to be. And some lenses could cost even much more than the actual camera body. Alright, so for example, this camera body is I think 1600 US. And this lens, the kind of cheap lens, is this lens is, what did we for this way? 9 something, almost 1,000 US. So the lens is almost as expensive as the camera body. So right away you could see that